It's been 3 years now that I have been working at Ubisoft on large-scale AAA game. In the world of AAA game development, 3 years is a short time, but I have had the privilege of working on 2 different games so far, and my role and experience has been extremely different on both productions. In this video, I will share some insights that hopefully can help aspiring devs know more about what to expect, but be warned, someone else's mileage may vary. There is no one-size-fits-all, even in AAA game development. I will not get into specifics about the games that I have been working on, as I can't do that, but I will share enough information so that it can benefit folks who are interested in joining AAA studio in the future. Before we go further, we have to address the elephant in the room. Everyone working at Ubisoft is aware of the hate among a large part of the gaming community. We go online, and we read articles and watch videos. We have heard it all in the last 2 years, so give me your best shot in the comment section. Some of that hate comes from what I believe is poor PR and communication. Some of it goes deeper, and as most people already know, the devs are not calling the shots in a publicly traded video game developer publisher of this size. I'm very happy to be working there, and I do see a lot of positive signs of things going in the right direction. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync is one of them. And yes, there are paid DLC for a single-player game. That debate has been around for a long time. Is anybody surprised? In 2018, AC Odyssey had a huge scandal over an XP booster that you could buy. If that is the kind of things that makes you mad, that's fine. You have all the right to be. My point is that AC Black Flag Resync is a freaking good game by all metrics. Do we all agree with all the decisions of our employers? Hell no. Most people I'm close enough to have a real honest conversation about the state of things are all very critical, and everyone knows when a game will flop and for what reasons. I'm blessed to be working with some exceptional game devs who are for the most part hardcore gamers who know their stuff. And if management was listening to the people on the floor more, we wouldn't be in this mess. Can everyone watching this video say that the company they work for is making great decisions that they agree with all the time? That's what I thought. Ubisoft is a great employer that treats their staff much better than many other companies, and there are many things that can explain why the company is in this situation. But this video is not about that. There are plenty of people online making videos on these kind of topics. This is not the goal of this channel. I'm here to share my experience so that people can understand what matters in video game development studios, and in AAA studios more specifically for this video. As I said earlier, one's mileage can vary greatly working for another AAA studio. Hell, even for the very same studio where I work at. So I joined Ubisoft in July 2023 and was hired as a level artist for Splinter Remake. I will not mention much about the game as it is in development, and the marketing team has not shared much with the public, so neither will I. I will, however, explain a few things that can be helpful. Right from the start, I was attending many meetings every week on top of jumping onto calls with leads, directors, producers, and many other fellow artists. I felt like I was part of the team right off the bat, and I'm very grateful for that. I was also learning a new game engine, Snowdrop, which I loved. What I will say about learning an in-house game engine will probably apply for every other one. You can try to figure out things by yourself for a while, you might find some documentation or even some training materials, but eventually you will have to ask around. You simply cannot guess how systems are managed, and the documentation will always be outdated. There is obviously no resources online for you to find, like when you're using Unity or Unreal Engine, so you will have to find out who you can ask for specific things, and you'll have to be careful not to ask 20 questions to the same person in the same afternoon, as you have to understand that everyone has their own tasks and can be very busy. Fortunately, I found out that many people were happy to help and jump on a call to show me some tricks, as it's basically impossible to guess. So we will get back to the topic of communication, but as you can tell, it will be one of the most important skills that you have to master. Later on, I joined the Rainbow Six team to work on Siege, which we shipped in June 2025. And as it is a live game, we are still working on it. My role has been totally different than on the Splinter game. Still with the same title of level artist, but really, my job is very different. I can't say much about the role itself, unfortunately. What is not different, though, is that I had to learn a new engine, again, Anvil this time. And all I can say is that the custom tools that we are using are fantastic, and I was very impressed by that initially. As this project is bigger than the previous one, I met and learned how to work with many more people. I would say 10 to 15 on a daily basis, and 20 to 30 total that I need to exchange information with. The situation is quite unique as this is a very successful live service game that has been going on for over 10 years now. So the production pipelines are well established and my team had to learn how things are done and jump into production. I had 3 mentors so far in my short time here. And even outside of them, I've met many others willing to take some time and to explain and share tips with me. As when you work with a proprietary game engine, it brings the team together in a way. As more experienced devs know how lost they were at first, so they are ready to help and getting you up to speed. So learning a new engine is not that bad. I must say that sometimes being assigned to another project may be sad or frustrating, but it's business. And the silver lining when you work for a studio that has many IPs and games being developed at the same time is the excitement of being assigned to a new project. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the game or not. A qualified game dev, I believe even more so for an artist, can bring something good to a new project aside from their technical skills. Once again, I have to say that working on different projects may be completely different. The phase of development will surely affect the daily tasks and your weekly schedule. But all in all, here's what a fast-paced environment looks like. You have your tasks. As a level artist, it will range from gathering references, managing documents, doing some paperwork like updating JIRAs, modeling or fixing models, trying out materials on assets, sometimes fixing UVs, smoothing groups, normals, etc. Then, you might be part of a small team that is working on the establishment of new pipelines. So you might be trying out new softwares or new custom tools and planning work on some environments, giving time estimates to your manager. You will also have some scheduled meetings, a few per week at the very least, and sometimes much more than that. You then will have unplanned calls from other team members, individually or in groups, because communication is key. And depending on your role, you might be spending quite a bit of time in calls, sharing your screens, working with someone that might be in another province or in another country. And all of that has to fit within your 40 hours per week, and you need to meet your deadlines. This can be overwhelming if you don't have a system for managing your time and your tasks. If you just go with the flow and get sidetracked trying to do everything that your teammates ask you to help them with, you might have a hard time meeting your deadlines. This is why having a great leader that you can rely on to tell you what are your priorities is very important. You also have to be a team player. And remember that your teammates might be waiting for your help. So you have to be very good at managing your time. I know, I'm repeating myself, but that is an overlooked skill that you will need. Now let's address crunch time. This is a very big topic in our industry, and many studios are trying to get this under control as it was a serious issue 10 to 15 years ago, at least here in Canada. When I was hired, I was told that the anti-crunch policy was as follows. If I would ever need more than 40 hours in a week to complete something pressing, my manager and his manager would need to sign off on it, and I would be paid for my extra time. It did not happen so far that this was a necessity for me. I've had very busy weeks, long days, but I could take it easy after the deadline was met. I do know of some people who did have to put in a lot of overtime, but they were okay with it, as it was for major assets in their games and they took pride into their work. They got paid for their extra time. So there is a real will to limit the crunch where I work at, and I know many other devs in Canadian cities who told me the same thing. So there is some progress on that front. If you're learning from these videos but are still struggling to put everything together into a full environment, that's exactly why I built my full course. You'll build the entire scene step by step in real time, understanding composition, scale, materials, and lighting, so you can apply the same process to your own worlds. These environments were created by students using the same workflow you will learn here. It's designed for artists who already know the basics and want to create a professional portfolio work, not just isolated studies. This isn't about learning tools, it's about learning how professionals build environments. If that's where you're trying to get to, you can check the link in the description. I cannot discuss the specifics of my job interviews before I got hired, but I can say that many questions were about my communication skills, how I managed delicate situations with teammates in the past, how I managed conflicts, feedback and criticism, and those sort of things were clearly very important for the recruiters. Given how many times I already mentioned it so far in the video, you can guess how crucial this skill is. Note that it has nothing to do with being an introverted or extroverted person. Communicating efficiently, politely, and having enough experience to understand how to approach certain people or certain topics can be learned. It goes without saying that being a great team player is a must in AAA, as your work will be interconnected with the work of many other teammates, and they might need you to push an update sooner than you had planned because they are blocked. Caring about your teammates is to make time for pressing issues while not forgetting about your deadlines. Also, problem solving is a must-have skill. Nobody expects you to fix everything by yourself. But if you are blocked or don't know how to fix something, figure out how to get through the issue, either by yourself or by asking help to the right person, which goes back to communication once more. You can improve those skills, but not on your own by working on 3D environments and blueprints only. You will need to get out there, work with others. It might be while working on your side job in another field before finding full-time work in a studio. Just be aware that those skills will make your life easier for any studio jobs, indie, AA, AAA. You might be the best 3D artist in town, but if you're difficult to work with, recruiters will be able to tell during interviews. I will say that hard skills, like technical things for 3D artists like modeling, sculpting, texturing, baking, fixing your assets, are prerequisite. There is a threshold that you have to meet to be considered for a role. But soft skills like communication, teamwork, and problem solving are much more important to have and to show. If you have done your homework, your portfolio is showing your hard skills level. The many interviews will show the recruiting team how are your soft skills. Saying that you're a great team player is not enough. You will have to prove it with real-life experience and examples. A job interview is basically you proving what your resume and cover letter are saying. I might say something that will sound strange to some people who never worked for a AAA studio, but I believe the best skill to work on is to be versatile. Even though AAA game development is known for asking devs to hyper-specialize in a very narrow field, the future of the industry in the West is to go forward with smaller teams. So as a level or environment artist, you will be smart to work on material creation, lighting, maybe foliage, destructible systems, procedural systems, even though there will always be specialists such as texture, lighting, and technical artists. The more you can bring to a project, even if you won't be as experienced as other specialists, you will become more valuable because you will be able to create a few simple authored materials in Substance Designer like wood planks, concrete, and soil for instance, while the senior texture artists will be working on much more complex shaders such as ice, glass, decals generators, etc. Also, if you work for any AAA studio, chances are that there are other projects for you to work on when the game you're working on will be shipped. So having more skills will make it easier for you to be picked by the team that you would like to join. On top of this, if you build a reputation of being nice to work with by communicating properly and caring for your teammates, you are improving your job security. I know, it feels weird to be saying that in 2026, but I'm an optimistic person. And I know the Western industry will adapt and evolve, or it will die. So that's why I'm optimistic. So now I would like to offer some general tips to those who would like to work on AAA games, and I won't repeat what I already said. So first of all, be patient. It took me 10 years after graduation from college to get my first full-time job in a AAA studio. But everyone's journey is different. And I ended up working in architecture for 7 years before joining an indie studio for 2 years, and then after applying to 130 to 140 different positions in Canada and in the USA, I received one offer, and it was from my current employer, Ubisoft Toronto. I moved from Vancouver to Toronto along with my wife and kid to make this happen. So don't tell me I'm lucky to live in Canada. It was brutally difficult getting the job, and I thought about quitting many times before I got it. You have to be really passionate, not about playing video games, but about making art or design or anything else that the role you want entails. It will be a hard journey. It might happen much faster for some, and I would be very happy for you if that's the case. So patience is an important virtue to work on. Hard work and smart work will be vital. You have to understand what studios are looking for. I will make a video on this topic soon. More on this later. Once you're in, Try to ignore most of the noise and keep a very clear line of communication with your manager. Make sure he knows where you're at all the time. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Try to understand things on a deeper level. Don't just learn where to click in the engine. Try to understand how systems work together. You will have to care also. I mean genuinely. Not just worry about delivering your tasks on time. If you see something that is broken or not working like it should be, flag it. Let people know so that the whole project gets better or more stable thanks to every member of the team. I mean this seriously. Game development is not for the faint of heart. I'm not saying we are heroes or anything like that, but this job has always been hard. In the past, it came with crazy workload, people sleeping at the studio and that kind of things. But now, in the past 3 years, there has been a significant readjustment of the game industry in the West while the East is thriving. Times are tough for finding a job now. It might seem next to impossible even. If you're really passionate, you will use the next few years to improve as an artist, learn new techniques and studio workflows, new softwares and new tricks. Working in a studio can feel like a dream one day and can be very challenging the next one. You'll have to be ready. It does come with low job security, but how many fields can promise stability nowadays? So you might want to do what you enjoy the most with your time, right? So if you're wondering, is it really worth it in 2026 to pursue a career in game development? I would say not for everyone. You have to figure out if you're really passionate about constantly learning, facing technical problems all the time, coordinating your work with the rest of the team, and more specifically to AAA, your contribution might be not so visible in some cases. Like being one of 4 environment artists who worked on an area or level, you will have done some parts only. If you feel that you can deal with those things, then I can tell you that it's worth all the sacrifices, and many sacrifices will be necessary before you get there. Now a word on the channel's partner, Bundle Foundry. You can get several tutorials for a very good price here. Many bundles are added each month. Several bundles just launched. You want to check this out. Check out the price also. This is great value. This is a great opportunity to level up your skills at a great price. Links to the bundles will be in the description. Soon, I will share in a video the project that got me my job in a AAA studio. As after I published the project, I started to receive much more invitations for interviews, and most importantly, 2 lead artists and 1 art director told me straight up that it was this particular project that got me the interview. So stay tuned, I'm sure it can help many people better understand what AA AAA studios are actually looking for. I'm also offering a AAA portfolio checklist that might help you figure out what's important for employers when applying for a job. The link is in the description. And a quick thank you to the members supporting the channel. Your support helps make these videos possible.